One of the challenges I think and we all face today is we have this thing right here, and it is loaded and filled with so much information and so many headlines and so much, especially social media of what everybody in the world is doing. So we think we should be I compare myself to what I just saw on Instagram. Is that what I should be doing? Like you said, Debbie, about what don't I want to do? But what do you do when you're bombarded with all this stuff about what everybody else is doing? How do you Here's the question. How do you navigate through all the noise?
I turn it off as much as possible. I'm not someone like social media. I've turned off all my notifications on my phone from social media. There was on my last laptop, I forget what it was called, but there was a way to turn off the news feed on Facebook. So when I would log into Facebook on my computer, I could only see the pages that I specifically went to. So I couldn't see what everybody was posting. Now I might look at Instagram and Facebook on my phone maybe once a week. Now, I will admit there are times where if I click on it, I do get caught in a death scroll. I will still get caught in,
I like
but
that death scroll.
it's not as often as it was because there was a point where I remember, and I had the app on my phone where I would block, like during certain times of the day, I would block access to the apps. But then it had this thing where it would tell me how many times during the day I attempted to access one of the apps that I blocked.
Why has it got to rat me out like that?
My God.
It's like, it will tell you, and I think there was one day it was over 100 times, and I'm like, and it was during a work day. Granted, yes, it was during COVID, so I was working from home a little bit more, but I was like, this is insane. I've literally picked up my phone and attempted to look at something over 100 times in a day. And it was like there were several sites because you have like Pinterest, that's a huge one for me. Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, all like YouTube, all of that. So it's not just one app, but it's like this is how many times I've picked up my phone today. And I think it was from doing that experience and just having it like thrown in my face, of course, because I set it to do that. But it's like, okay, I need to make a change. So it's gotten to the point where now Pinterest is still a problem for me. I'm not going to lie. Pinterest is still a problem. But Instagram and Facebook, like I said, maybe once a week there, I'll go weeks without even thinking about it. And then my mom will say, oh, well, we shared some pictures on Facebook. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go check Facebook now.
For me, I realized it was a compulsion. Like I was just grabbing my phone mindlessly, right? So it was setting intentions, building awareness, setting boundaries for myself. Like I've gotten really good. I'm only allowed to look at TikTok at a certain time because once you get stuck, you get sucked in, you just can keep scrolling for hours and nobody's got time for that, no matter. And that's not even taking into account what those images and information might be doing to my
Uh-huh.
my mental health or cognition. So, but also because I saw so many people struggling with it, I actually created a resource. So I love that you asked this question. I have a free quiz on my website that people can take. Um, and it's a or not a doom. That's one of the scrolling types is doom scroller. Um, but it helps you identify what kind of a scroller you are. And then you get a personalized email challenge to your inbox with ways you could tweak the way you use social media. But it's so insidious and it's so everywhere and it's so hard to avoid, so hard to not get caught in the compare and despair. And I feel like that also adds fuel to that overwhelm of when we are deciding we want to do things differently, there's too many options, too many things going on. So that's what makes it really hard to identify what you want versus what everybody else on Instagram is doing and you think you should want.
Damn belonging comes back
Yep.
up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm going to add a little bit of a different perspective because for me, I think it's more about like specificity, like knowing who you are and, whether it's why you're there or what you do and don't like subscribe to or belong to or, like want to be in your space because now they make it so easy to be like, ignore for 30 days. See you later. I don't want to see stuff like this anymore. That if you know who you are and you know why you are so deeply like that thing, like you can't just be ambitious. Why are you ambitious? How does ambition rule your day to day? And how does that affect the people in your circle that ripples out? Like, why do you show up that way? And like, what does that create in the world around you? And when you know that, it's so easy to be like, not my person, not my thing, not my place, not for me. Nope. Don't sign me up for that. And to just kind of like push stuff off. For me, so like clarity is a gift of mine. It's like my superpower. It is one of my like deepest like gifts and values. So that kind of information overload does not faze me in the slightest. And I recognize that that's not true for everyone, which is why I'm not out there preaching like just yourself and you can do this by any means, right? Like for Tamika, like yours is very much like a peace and like a sense of like purpose and like having that peaceful like thing for yourself, however you describe that in whatever language. And Debbie, yours is boundaries, like within that like space of like, nope, like this is how I do that. So we all have a different way of describing what that like boundary means and is for us. But I definitely think that you get to just show up and be and know what's for you and not for you.